my name is Debbie Flynn. I'm a band teacher from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in Canada, and we are here with the Canada-Cuba organization doing band workshops, choir workshops, and taking part in the Cuban culture of music. I had heard about Cuba Cultural Festival from a friend, and I guess the reason why I wanted to do this trip was that there are a lot of experiences that we can do musically in Canada in terms of performing and repertoire that I think we could do quite well in Canada. And I wanted to do something different for the students that would enrich their lives both musically and so that they could take something forward into their life and have a life lesson from it, I guess. I can absolutely tell you that the highlight of my trip is watching my students with the Cuban people. I think the passion that they have for music and dance and culture has been passed on to my students, and I can see the difference in my students, bringing them back to Canada. I hope that they can take back that passion and that enthusiasm for the arts back to our school and back to our country and back to Saskatchewan. We did a fabulous band workshop with a Cuban band director who was both exciting and knowledgeable about the Cuban culture and Cuban music. So my students took away a lot of stylistic things about Cuban music that I think, although we could try to emulate, I don't think we could really show the students how to play in the Cuban style the way that she could. And I think the other thing that I think my students will take away is a kind of a knowledge of Cuban culture and an appreciation for what they have in Canada and an understanding that the world works differently in different countries.
Hi, so my name is Holden Goodwin. I'm from Canada, Saskatchewan specifically, and I'm here in Cuba for a band program, so we're doing a Cuban cultural exchange with music. So far, I think that the highlights would be definitely the cultural exchanges that we've been doing at schools. I've very much enjoyed that. Going to the beach is always a highlight. And I think finally just like being able to experience Cuban culture has been a total highlight for me because it's something super new and interesting that I've never really experienced before.
My name is Deanna Stockdale-Winder. I'm from Canada, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan specifically, and I'm in Cuba on a band trip with school. So while we've been here, we've been able to do a lot of dancing and singing and learning about Cuban music and culture. And so I particularly enjoyed listening to a vocal jazz group that was here and then taking part in a Cuban drumming workshop. That was super fun. I learned so much, but also had fun at the same time. And you meet the most amazing people in the world. It seems like everyone in Cuba is just super happy all the time and they're so excited to see you and they love dancing with you. And you would think that the language barrier would be a problem, but the dance and the culture sort of speaks for itself. And there's just no problems at all. You can totally party with people that you know nothing about.
My name is Morgan Beatty. I'm from Canada, Saskatchewan, and we are on a band trip here in Cuba. Being here in Cuba has really helped, I feel, with my rhythm and just enriching kind of my cultural knowledge, I guess, of music and just broadening my taste, I guess, for music as a whole. For me personally, the highlights of this trip have been the cave tour and the hike. So basically the outdoor experiences, but I also got a lot out of just meeting the Cuban people and experiencing the culture here. I really found that it was very interesting for me as a first-time traveler. This is a really cool first-time experience for me.
Sounds good. Well, my name is James Hay. I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, and we are here just learning about the culture in Cuba and performing for the Cuban people and also watching them perform for us. How it has helped me improve, I would say I feel a lot more Cuban in my playing now, but also just the music in Cuba is just so much fun and it just shows me like how to like enjoy my music more, and just that it's in Cuba it's a way of life, and like it's so great to see that, and kind of I hope to like imply that when I go back and just show like how important music is in our lives.
I think when a lot of people think about Cuba, they think about a beach vacation. And I think if you stick to the beach, then that's what Cuba can be for you. But I think if you go through something like Canada-Cuba, the experience you have is so much broader. Your students come away with a kind of learning that I think will be lifelong for them, and both musically and culturally and personally. And I think being able to step into another country and have such a close experience with the people is what Canada-Cuba has given my students. And I think that I can't think of how else I could give them this experience other than coming to a place like this. Absolutely. I think one of our curricular goals in music is to connect it with different aspects of the curriculum. So for definitely in terms of understanding cultures, history, understanding how the Cuban history leads to their musical interests and their musical tastes, and how all of the different cultures put together have created the music in Cuba. I think we in Canada have quite a few cultures that also contribute to our music, and I think that's one of the things that I think we could take away from this and we could put through the curriculum. I think they've learned about history here. I think we've definitely learned musical style. Part of our musical culture is history, and we've learned about our own history, about Cuban history, and the students have had a chance to share their history as well.
I would tell them, and I would totally recommend the trip to them, because it's life-changing. You learn so much, and also coming with a big group and all your friends from school, you get to experience all of that together, and I feel like that brings you closer as well, to have those like life experiences together. And I would recommend it to anybody in school, and it just teaches you so much more. It's been an awesome trip, and I'm really happy I got the opportunity to come to Cuba, and I've learned so much.
This program I feel like has been an amazing experience for our band, and I can definitely recommend it to anyone who is interested in it, for sure.
I would definitely recommend this to everyone. I've had a total blast, and it's just been the most amazing experience.
Oh my gosh, you guys, the trip is so awesome. I think you guys should definitely come here. Even just to come here, like just for the sake of coming here, there's not only so many cool things that you can learn from Cuban culture, but it's also just a super interesting place. I would definitely recommend this program for kids back home.
I would absolutely recommend this program to teachers and administrators back home. I think if you really want to make a difference for your students, you try to do something that you can't do in your own location, and I think that's what Canada-Cuba has done. It gives you an experience that you could not have anywhere else.